And you also leave people confused when things come out later. Exactly. Instead of informing them first.
Exactly.
And so my thing is, why would you want your people to be surprised? So later on, if she's making decisions that mirror decisions she made in the past, and we had all opportunity to warn you about things she did in the past, why would you want people to live in that confusion?
Yes. See, I don't have anything personal against Kamala Harris. I don't even know her.
Right.
Okay. And women, especially black women, have suffered so much.
Yes.
Over the past 465 years, just in this country alone.
Right.
Women have suffered globally. And so I don't begrudge any sister.
No.
For being proud to see a black woman be nominated. And there's a possibility that she could become the number 2, not most powerful, because the president doesn't run the country.
Not at all.
And if the president doesn't run the country, neither does the vice president.
He doesn't write laws.
And what people have to understand, that in the choosing of a vice president, and y'all can get mad at me if you want to, there's a thing in politics called impeachment insurance.
Yes.
That means that a presidential candidate chooses a vice presidential candidate that deep in his heart he knows that even if he is facing impeachment, it may save him just at the thought of the American people thinking that VP would take over.
Yes.
And so people always wonder, why do they choose like a weak nobody to be vice president? I'm talking about in the past. I'm not talking about Kamala Harris.
Right.
It is because that's the play.
Right.
You don't choose somebody that they would want to see take your place.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So I have nothing against her, and I have nothing against AKAs and others being proud to see her rise.
I understand I understand being happy. I understand being proud. When people were saying we need a black woman vice president, I'm all behind it. My only caveat was we need a black woman vice president who cares about black people. I feel as if that caveat was left out, and that was dangerous.
We've already had a black president.
Yeah.
We've already had a black president.
Right.
In other words, we've gone down this road before. And so to say, now you can want a black woman vice president.
Yes.
But my problem is us saying that we need. No, that ain't what we need.
Yeah.
What we need is unity.
Yeah, very true.
What we need is to take the $2 trillion in spending power that we have and redirect that inward.
Yes.
What we need are our own hospitals and clinics so that we can give one another the best care, because the easiest place to hide racism is in a hospital.
Absolutely.
What we need is conflict resolution centers in our community where we can come together to solve our own problems instead of taking our problems to a criminal justice system that was not meant to give us justice.
Right.
Like when we start listing the list of needs for black people in America, presidents should be nowhere in the top 10. Vice president, that should be nowhere on our list.
That's not even on the map.
You see, so somebody who is a politician should be forced by black people and the black vote and black political momentum to get behind the agenda that we already have, that we're already executing for ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
But as long as we sit back and we wait for anyone in government to do for us what we can do for ourselves, we will forever remain disappointed.
We'll always hinder progress.
And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it then, but it is more relevant now. It is our time, brother. We must do for self. And thinking that having a black vice president, thinking that that's the key to our salvation and liberation. It's just simple foolishness.
Yeah, it's not going to add up. It's not going to add up. And this is my thing, and I'm going to move on from the Kamala Harris part. Is I would never talk about her as a person. Mm-hmm. I don't know this woman, and I'm not the type of person to talk about people rather than actions. But I do know for a fact in 2014. We were organizing because she was turning her head and letting police officers get away with things. Alan Bluford. People saw that movie Fruitvale Station.
Yes.
Well, that guy, at that time she was the attorney general, and we were putting pressure on her to make the prosecutor do the right thing. She didn't. Mm-hmm. And these things happen over and over and over and over again.
And you can't ignore that history.
You can't ignore that history. I've done so many protests that were involving her name, literally doing the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. These kids and even some of us adults are protesting this stuff right now. Mm-hmm. So she is.
And now that it's politically expedient, she wants to join the protest.
Right. And so my question is, how do I just erase all these memories of truth that I have and now act like it don't exist? Deric, I talk about prosecutors and district attorneys all the time and the dangers they have because they have too much power if unchecked. And now people want me, and like I said, this is therapy, Deric. Yeah. People want me to not say anything about what this woman has done. I've seen the effects of her. Mm-hmm. She's affected my life personally. Mm-hmm. Now people want me to just be quiet because she's the black woman who's elected to be the vice president.
Right.
And I'm like, well, she can't do anything anyway. So what do I do, Deric? Do I reverse course or do I just be quiet? Because I talk about Donald Trump too. I say what the truth is for who the people are. Do I just acquiesce to popular society right now and just stop telling the truth?
It reminds me of a letter that Commandante Fidel Castro wrote from jail. He was a young revolutionary, and he saw a brighter future for his country that did not include the capitalist invasion of the United States of America. And at the end of his letter, he wrote these words: "History will absolve me."
Yes.
And so when we speak truth as we know it, we never back down from truth. Because even though people may throw stones at us for speaking truth, we know that in the end, history will be kind to us. History will absolve us. Mm-hmm. So there comes a time, my brother, where you have to swing the axe of truth at the tree of circumstance and let the chips fall where they may. See, it is not our responsibility to control how people respond to the truth. We have no power over that.
Absolutely.
It's like when a farmer goes and he places a seed in the ground. He places it in fertile soil. He waters it. He makes sure that it gets the right amount of sunlight. But the actual growth, he's not in charge of that. A greater power is in charge of that. And that is how we have to be when we speak the seed of truth.
Absolutely.
We have to be confident that the greater power who gave us that truth, he'll handle that.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you like I tell them youngsters. Listen, once I speak to you what I know is the truth, you ain't got to like it. You don't even have to follow it. But I guarantee you, if I told you the truth, you're going to run into it again.
You know it.
You going to run into it again. And when you run into it again, in your mind, you'll go, man, that bald head brother tried to tell me this.